Hello and Allah Apad Baha'i greeting to all the people of the earth. My name is Abbas Tamori. Today is 25th of February, time is 9:37. I had an email through a good human being whose intention is well-intentioned, whose intention is very spiritual. And he contacted me. His name is Zach. And he proposed some kind of ideology, definitely for purpose of unity of people, unity of mankind. It seems we have too much of a diversities in our opinions, and people are confused between all these ideologies and the claims from all kind of directions, religious, scientific, and whatnot. So Zach is trying to create shall we say, postulate an ideology, how we could put Baha'i Faith and some version of the Mormonism into some kind of a idea that might unite people. He mentioned the name of the few leaders, don't remember them, that they're out there to help people to get together. And he said to me, as my interpretation, I haven't heard before, that Joseph Smith, the prophet, claimed to be the prophet by the Mormons, who according to his own account had seen God in the forest, some kind of an image among the trees appeared to him, who was God, and had questions, and that image, which was God according to him, referred him to ask my son, Jesus. And Zach says that actually Joseph Smith was a Baha'i, and what he saw in fact was Baha'u'llah, and that refers to the son, that would be Abdul-Baha. So this way, we can put Joseph Smith into, incorporate him into the Baha'i Faith. As I said, it's definitely a well-intentioned idea, and I'm not going to oppose him and his intentions. But as a human being, I'm just giving my opinion. It's up to you how you think. My understanding of the Baha'i Faith in the past 35 years is this. Those who are thinking Baha'i Faith is an ideology, the answer is this, concrete answer. Baha'i Faith is not an ideology. Zero chance of that. When you say ideology, philosophy, it means then there could be many philosophies, many ideologies. Can we say the prescription of a doctor to kill the germs in your body when he prescribed the medicine, could we say that's an ideology? No. It's a matter of fact. That is what Baha'i Faith is. Baha'i Faith is a prescription of God for those who are sick. Prescription of God for those who do not want to be sick. A prevention measure. It's simply matter of fact. So, it sounds like a claim that I'm making here right now, or who knows, who can prove a Baha'i Faith is a matter of fact, or Baha'u'llah is that divine physician who says he is. It's not in this topic. I can't go too much towards it, but I'm going to be getting on that later on. Baha'i Faith is an invitation from Baha'u'llah, who is just a human being, but manifestation of something so huge, which in the Baha'i Faith we call him the will of God, who is responsible for the creation. Not God himself, but his will. Okay? That's the means how he does these creations. And that will has made Baha'i Faith and other religion in the past, an invitation to mankind to go to him. He's lonely. We're kind of coming from him. We're like his children. The fact that Quran says we all die and we all go return to God. We are of God and we shall be returning to God. It means the will of God. That's what it means. So that invitation is luring us to get there. And the principles and the books and everything else that Baha'u'llah has done has paved the way. It's a road. It's not the destinations that he's intending to. Just a road. That through this road, the generality of mankind, 99.99% of them, following this catalyst, this path, this road, they would go to him or her. There's no prejudice here. To the will of God, to that will, which we are made by it. Not our reality, but our body and the soul is manufactured by him. Our very essence is just like him himself. But the difference of a baby born with a 80 years old, 60 years old father, 50 years old father. There's a lot of difference within that baby and that father, immense. But taking us between us and will of God, multiply this infinity. But yet we are of his, and he wants us to go back to him. And the way this universe is made, unless we understand that, how to get to him and know him, we're like an orphan. But always a question in the back of his mind, who's my father? Where do I come from? Those things will be all answered when we get to Baha'u'llah, when we see him. So, the role of ideology in the Baha'i Faith really is creation of a pathway where we can get to the will of God. Generally speaking, I as a philosopher would tell you that the need of mankind is essentially three types. Everything has the ramifications of these three types. First of which, it pertains to our body. Okay, how to maintain this body. Where the doctors come, where the farmers come, with everything that feeds this body and protects this body and even makes this body beautiful. That's physical. Then it's our need towards each other. That's what we are. We are a sociable person. And that is the social need. Me, I want to have a relationship with others. I've explained in my videos, there are 7 types of those. My relationship to my wife, to my children, to my father and brothers, to my friends, to my people in the cities that I see every day, to my country, my nations, and to the planet. These are all social aspects. I've explained that before. And our physical needs, the way it goes, is also 7. First of all is the instinctive desires that we have, what we eat, where we sleep, who we mate, sex, and also going to the bathroom. Those are 4 instinct desires. If these are done well, then we have the second valley, the second stage. We will have good moods accordingly, good or bad, based on what we have done with these 4 instinctive desires. This will get into become a habit, bad habit or good habit. The 4th one, this bad habit or good habit creates ethics in us, So a neighbor asks, could you, help me to cut the grass? We say yes. We're going to post office, could you mail this letter? We say yes. We pass by, we say hello to others. They do something bad to us, we just humble ourselves down. That's ethics. And this ethics goes to the 5th stage where we perform deeds. Deeds here means that causes to create attributes. I work, which is money. I use my body, which is physical. I get the money and just give it to the poor, to somebody who needs it. This giving of physical to somebody else, it creates a emotion and a feeling in me. If I keep doing it, it will turn to a attribute. I actually become a generous person. I just love to do it, like Bill Gates. Okay, now if these attributes, it's the 6 values, if the attributes, according to me, gets back to become more than 50%, the person will have what Baha'i Faith calls it, the spirit of faith, which is something between the prophets and human. We become a photocopy of him. In reality, let's give a simile to example by the digital example. We become a computer, this brain, the software, and we connect to the internet of God, that will. Then he uses to do things in the earth for the people. He for sure doesn't like this creation, this God, whoever's made it. He likes it, but he wants to make correction, edit. We are the editing force, all of us. He doesn't like a woman to get pregnant and dies because she has to go through a C-section. He doesn't want people to die naturally to get cancer. He doesn't like that. This is why he comes in the form of man and raises us, all of us, from physicists, chemists, whatever, to fix things around. We are the editor, Actually, creation of God continues through us by fixing things us, okay? So I said that's physical, that's social, but none of this is really Baha'u'llah's intention. He's not gone 40 years in jail and killing 25,000 people, and you don't know what happened. If you read the history, you cannot believe how many psychos have been in Iran to kill these people the way they've done. Plucking their eyes, cutting their nose, nailing their soul in the foot, throwing hot water in the baby's mouth. Amazing stuff they've done. And the Baha'is, they did not do anything about it. They just forbearing. So all of this he has done because he wants us, to understand something way bigger than living in this planet and having body and all of that. So some people tell me that, okay, what's the difference between social and spiritual? I was asked this question in one of the temples, I think in Mexico. I was talking to a Canadian. He says, well, I don't get it. What do you mean by social? And then some of this is spiritual. Those who become Baha'i, because Baha'u'llah said man and women are of equal right, all these principles that he says that the world is to become one country, not all of that, are the teaching of the Baha'u'llah, not his ultimate teaching. These are the teaching to make a road, a catalyst. Because if you are a Muslim, let's say, a staunch Muslim who believe man and women have no equal right, then you're saying that your sister, your daughter, and your mother is half of your boy, and half of your son, and half of your brother, half of your father. Such a person cannot become kind, or he's like barred by this kind of ideas that he has. Okay? Or so many ideas that is like this. Many of it. That is why this social teaching has come to pave the way to get there. So what's a spiritual? I'm going to give you an example. I love to go to Texas. I just like these people. Whatever the reason is, I don't know. Because I watch too many cowboy movies. As a child, I was raised as an American, really. I was in Iran, yes. But I grew up with John Wayne, with Bugs Bunny. So those things are all instilled in my head. I went about 10 years ago in Arizona, in Sedona. I don't know why I was feeling at home. I was puzzled. I mean, at home, like I'm feeling secure. I feel okay. I'm at rest in this land that I've never been in. Why? And I'm trying to find out. And then I found out that as a kid, I grew up in this land, with these cowboys, with this music, with these things. So I'm returning to what was I made. That's why Arizona felt like home. Then we went to Texas. Oh man, these people are beautiful. You know, everything they say about the Southerners are wrong. I think those are opposing them. They're well-mannered people. The only white people that they have a lot of emotions. And I like that anyways. Went to San Antonio. As the city hall. Immediately, these guys, they come around. Look so, as if I could not find any difference between them and people in Ontario. Ontarian Canadians are a little bit on the cold side. No, people in Texas. We went to another canyon, I don't know, Paul Duro or something. The people there are so kind. It's incredible. So, I give you an example. Back to the spiritual definition. You see, how many friends do you guys have that if your car breaks down, you can call him in the middle of the night and say, hey, buddy, I'm in trouble. He actually gets up on the phone and says, okay, I'm coming. Comes to save you, doesn't blame you. He's happy doing that. You might not want to do for your son or your brother, but this friend you will do. How many of us do we have people like that? It's very rare, eh? But still, nevertheless, there are many of us that they do. But these people are very close to us. We grow up with them in a school, I don't know, in the same streets. We have had a whole history with them. But there's a lot of trust between us. When we go out of town for a trip, for traveling, we give the key to our friend to watch the house. If you have an old mother in the house, we tell them, maybe my mother come to your house or you come here or something like that. That's okay. See that relationship? Imagine if you have 10 people like this. You would never feel depressed. You would never feel alone. If one person goes in the house of Dracula overnight, 99% of the people, they cannot sleep in that house. I, for one, can't. I have no fear of him, if it was real. But still, it's spooky. It's just, I don't like it. It's too dark, too whatever. Majority of people are scared. But imagine, instead of one, there's 30 people together in that house. They're all in the middle of the living room. The fear is gone. It seems the fear is divided to everyone. Therefore, people feel a little bit of a fear, divided by 30. And a little bravery goes around. Everybody gets it. This is spiritual. Now imagine this Texas boy, this Texas man, have this relationship with the Iranian, with Chinese, with the Viking, with the black man, with a person who's never seen him, and all his life is raised to know that he's different from him. Yet he is able and capable to have such relationship with a person like this, who is completely different. So all kind of walls are made in between. Natural wall of color, social wall of ethnicity, language, of religion, of physicality. Everything is made that you are different from them. As a matter of fact, if you go and try to be friends with them, you'll find it is very difficult. For example, their mouth could be having a bad fume comes out of them because the way they are, they don't brush their tooth well, and you have to take it. Or their feet stinks. Or they come to your house and they see your dog is going to the toilet and licks your lips. A Muslim man could go, this is just impossible, I can't believe it. With this kind of barriers, you fly over all these walls and you become wholeheartedly friend. An American is a friend with a black man. Not from America. I call him American. I'm from a black man from Africa. A man from China. A man from Sweden. A man from Saudi Arabia. A man from Kazakhstan. A man from the natives. With all of them, he has this beautiful, fantastic relationship. And that is the goal of Baha'u'llah. Now we're talking spiritual. This is what he wants done. So, why does he want that? We have to understand the difference between individual and collective. And Quran says if one kill a person as though he has killed the entire people. Meaning, if you cut my finger, as if you have hurt my entire body. You do. Because God looks at humanity as one being. A being that is kind of into pieces, falling apart everywhere. Prophet of God is like a Dr. Frankenstein. He wants to get these pieces together to make it one body, one collective, and wakes up. One person is like the cell of your body. You extract a cell of your body by tweezer, put it on the table. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, the cell dies. The nuclei dies. Mitochondria, everything that's in it dies because there's no blood going through, it just dies. But the same cell, when it comes united to form this body, it can live 70 years. Just understand the difference between one cell in your body with all the aspects and you. You think you're intelligent, you live 70 years, you create this world. What can a cell in your body do? Nothing compared to that. But yet, to put them together, you make this. Now you imagine what man has done so far on the planet. If you put it together to become one collective, oh my God, that would be the biggest superpower that's ever existed. It will traverse the entire universe, no problem. Such a powerful human being it becomes. Can one American go to the moon? No. But as a collective, they're capable of changing that barren land, that land of natural land, into something so fantastic that 350 million people they live in it. Albeit with a lot of differences right now, but they've done that. This is the goal of the Baha'i Faith. This is what is the difference between a spiritual goal and the social. This is the revelation of Baha'u'llah. So my friend Zach, if you put these wrong elements together, it won't work. Baha'u'llah says, humbly, he says that the problem of the world has increased daily by the wrong doctors, by the wrong physicians. I am the divine physicians, but they've barred me from doing my job. They put me in prison, he says to Napoleon III. This is why the problem is increasing. And he says nobody else can do this except myself. Who is more authentic that when your computer breaks down to fix it? The manufacturer. They have all the plan. They can actually make the missing pieces, produce it and send it to. Nobody else can, because nobody has else has those designs? Easiest. Baha'u'llah is the manufacturer of these bodies we have, which is nothing but a laptop. Furthermore, he is also the manufacturer of what we know as soul, which is the software installed on this body, none of which is us. Us is a third thing. It's neither body nor soul. I would call it self. The person who decides. Yes, if I want to buy this house, build this house, I go through AutoCAD, I go into my computer, and I design this. Where and what with this, how, what color, this, all the social things. All I need a software installed on the laptop, but I need also a laptop together so I can make a decision. But the decisions, whether to make this plan or another plan or where, it's not coming from the laptop. It's coming from the person who's using the laptop. That is our reality. That is not created. That is a part of the will of God. And then the operation of the will of God is actually through people. If you say, well, no, I'm the son of my mother and my father, Baha'u'llah says yes, but the will of God is in your mother and is in your father. They decide to love or whatever, get together on that particular night, on that particular second, a zygote is formed, and you or the self, you jump on it, and you take it. That's how the will of God operates. It's not somebody out there that's doing these things, no. It's us. Except that, as I told you, Baha'u'llah says, there are others who want to do my job. Naturally, it's not possible, you know. It's like you say, I love physics, but I hate Albert Einstein. I'm not going to follow his books. I'm not accepting whatever he has said. Well, I don't know what physics are you reading or studying, but whether you like him or not, E is equal to MC squared 2. That's it. It is the same way. Baha'u'llah is the manufacturers of all these things. It is in our possession, though, because without it, we would be nothing, absolute nothing. I'll discuss with you. There's nothing by having this computer, like a boy from Africa to come down here. You send him to school, you give him the laptop on the class, and he works on it. Then he becomes an engineer. Isn't that Peter the Great did? He took some black people, I think from Ethiopia. He said, I'm going to prove that there is no black or white. I'm going to prove that these people are capable, same thing like we do. He took them, these black people, and sent them to France. They become great engineers. They came back to Russia. They built a lot of bridges and this and that. One of the descendants became Alexander Pushkin. He's actually a black man from Ethiopia, basically the father, you know, of the literature in Russia. That's the will of God into the Tsar of Russia to do that. I guess this discussion can go for hours and hours, especially with a gullible man like me. So I stop. I worked very hard today at age 64. I was laying tile downstairs. Oh God, all my knees. But I had to do it. Right now it's not work. It's actually the medicine. All right. Good night, Zach. I don't know if it is helpful to you or not, but as I promised, this is it.